Hey guys, welcome to the second week of March. I don't know about for you, but the first week was absolutely amazing for me. Amazing stuff happened, and many people are saying, oh, Mercury is in retrograde and it's just going to be a crazy week. But for Leos, guess what? It is supposed to be an amazing time for us. So watch out, all fellow Leos. It's going to be rocking. So I've got CJ and Trade up here just because I want to always, mention my watch list. Great stuff. A big seal trove. We had Big, which rocked. That was the best one on Friday that continued in the upward motion, and it's carried on into the list for this week. And I'll go ahead and mention, definitely check out my Twitter as well as Instagram, because on Twitter and on Instagram, I do tend to post really cool things more on Instagram stories, so they disappear, so the big guys don't know what I'm seeing. So before, when we had a sell-off on Amazon, I saw this, a closing print of 1.56 million at 14.82. Well, the reason why I was saying recently this past week, hey guys, I want to be bearish below 1692.43. Why? I saw 52 million right there. So that is a big level for me to watch, because I'm seeing, hey, this is volume that is already traded there. Now, this could be dark pool that is not reporting all of it. They didn't have, say, their 60 million order filled, and so they weren't reporting all of it. And also, I put an Instagram story out. I try to make it so that it's temporary, so that this stuff goes away, but the people that do follow me get to know this information. 1 billion shares on GDX that had closed at 22.77, and that was, I believe, a week ago Monday. I have to go back and look at the exact dates, but that is definitely a great reason to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, because you're going to get to see all these cool little things that I'm seeing, and I'm happy to share, because hey, we are the little retail traders. These big guys have the massive money, and they're the ones moving the market, so let's jump on their train and follow along with them and profit, right? Also, big news, Modern Trader Summit. You guys have heard me talk about this almost every week. We have a new speaker on board. It is Marina Villatoro, and she is a futures trader, and she started trading around her 40th birthday, so not too far away from me. I started day trading around my 38th birthday. Also, check out her blog, traderchick.com right here. So check out her blog. But, if you want to learn more from her, also come and meet her in person, because it is going to be amazing. We've got futures trader. We have oil trader. We've got Jeremy Newsom, who's going to be talking about candlesticks. We have Andrew Aziz from out in Vancouver. He's going to be coming. So definitely check it out. It's an amazing day. We've got breakfast, we've got lunch, we've got cocktails, and amazing speakers that are going to just be there to share and help everybody. Everybody has a different style that will work for them. So this is all about tidbits and tips that will go ahead and improve your trading. It's always fun to expand your knowledge no matter what it is in life. And this is a great event. So definitely check it out and book your seat, as actually prices are going to be going up. So check it out, and we will go ahead and get into the SPY for the week, right? On Friday, I tweeted, I said, hey guys, look at this. I tweeted it out. I said, look, I'm looking for a bounce up to 275.25 on the SPY. And sure enough, oops, wrong tab. Sure enough, where did we go after hours? We went up to right here, 275.06, but I'm looking for a little bit further up, and I think that if this momentum continues, then we will likely see up to 276.24. Let me show you why. This is what I'm doing to see where I'm thinking the bounce. Sorry, this is a Fibonacci's, right? So I'm taking the high of the day prior, bringing it all the way down to the low of the day prior, right? I said 275.24 right there. That was why I thought it would go ahead and bounce there. And on the bigger picture, if we go down from the top of this trend, right? We go to the top of this trend all the way down here. The 61% is 276.26. So we might go to 275.24 and pull back and head back down. We've also have the 4 EMA right here, 276.06. I'd like to have my my lines, these dashed lines here on the daily so that I can see what is going on when I go in on a lower time frame. So I say, hey, all right, look, I want to follow these averages on the daily as well as the 5-minute chart, for example. So we'll look at it, that 5-minute chart. It looks a little bit jumbled because it is so close, but you can see it's right here. So I know, hey, if it bounces up to 276, then we might very well have a pullback from there and it might sell off even more. So that is the reason why I have those dashed lines on my chart. So let me go ahead and remove this. We'll go back to a 45-minute chart to see what's going on. So we came down here. We had this nice upward wedge, right? It's continued up this upper trend line. We have the 50 moving average. This is on the 45-minute chart. It has bounced below it. If we pull it back, you can see it's been holding below it in this downward trend. So that might act as resistance. If we bounce up above it, I think that we could go ahead and potentially bounce up to 277, that 8 EMA, before coming back down. Of course, the market is going to dictate 100%, but we had this nice upward movement into the end of the day on Friday, and we'll see what happens with futures tonight at 6 p.m. As far as IWM, let's go ahead and look at that. So we had very similar action. I just added it to the watch list. Sorry, didn't change the screen here. Same thing. We had this nice, it found a bottom here, looks like a double bottom, a bit of a wedge going up, and went ahead and broke it out end of day. Also tweeted about Amazon. Amazon had the same thing, right? Amazon, like I said, hey, if we break that 1692 level, I think it's going to be a downward action, right? So boom, now look, we found somewhat, seems like a bottom right here, and we are in that upward motion. So I think we might be in that dead cat bounce for the market. You know, of course, this is always just my opinions, but if Amazon is bouncing, likely as well, we're gonna see that happen with NASDAQ as well, and the market as well, because it's such a big player in the market. So let's get into the watch list for the week. You know, guys, I did have my Series 7 before, but it is not current. So please trade with proper risk management at your own risk and do your due diligence prior to trading. These are all my opinions and my ideas going into the week. So we had Big that had nice earnings on Friday. I had it on my watch list. It did do very nicely, and it looks like it might have continued upward motion. We ended up close to the, well, not the high of the day, but it's still following the trend upward for the moment. I would say 35.87 for support, resistance of 36.72. This does have 39.62 million in the float and 57% short float volume from Friday. If we look at it back on the yearly chart, we're not right at the top of the range, but we do have this gap to fill, right? Up, so we tapped right here, the bottom of the area. So I think next stop up for resistance would be that 39.23, which look, it's 1 penny away from the 200-day moving average. So I think there's a nice $3 move that could still potentially happen in Big in the next coming days. Next one on the long list is MTN, Vail Resorts. They've been pummeled with snow, which is great, right? So this one had a nice up day, surge, broke out from this 211 level, and it continued up but didn't close at the high, which is no surprise because the market pulled back, right, on Friday. So I would look for a potential breakout above 221.03 and support of 214.67. We'll look at it on the 15-minute chart. So it ran up, pulled back, bounced, and sort of closed in the middle ground, and it could continue up or could continue down, but it was very active on Friday. That is why it's on its list, and it has 39.8 million on the float and 49.61% short float volume on Friday. Next on the long list is EXK. So EXK, you can see, look, we're testing this high right here. It is silver, and a great website is Equityfeed.com, and I would say go and check out the silvers, right? So we'll go to commodities and we will check out, all right, we've got cotton here, silver futures. Look at this, from January all the way up to April. It's supposed to be pretty good growth. So this is a silver stock. This is strong in the sector. It has been going up nicely, right? Just like that chart since the beginning of the year. Really, January 22nd, down at 196, up almost 50% already for the year. So that's a nice one to watch. It's pretty strong in the sector. On the year, you can see we are in this upward motion. We are somewhat in this gap of this candle right here. It's tested resistance from the past. So once it breaks it, next would be potentially 281 and then on up to 291 level. Clearing this, and we could look up to 310. And then if we clear that, the 52-week high, 335, definitely in breakout zone. Let's go back and see on the 5-year chart. You can see, wow, okay, so if we break 335, we've got a potential move right on up to $4, $3.50, and then $4 from there. All right, and EXK does have 130 million in the float and 40.9% short float volume on Friday. Sometimes I throw out weird accents. That was kind of weird, the percent way I said that. Anyways, going into Costco for the week. Ignore these old lines. These were old lines for potential breakout to the upside, and look at that, it had that breakout. So you can see those resistance, support and resistance do hold true over a longer time frame. It bounced right off of it right here. So looking for 228.70 for resistance to break out, and 226.44 to the downside. Did have earnings and a surprise of 32 cents. So looking for continued motion to the upside, which will also likely pull the market up as well. And it has 438 million in the float and 36.77% short float volume on Friday. So it seems like a lot of people are thinking it's going to continue up because more people are buying it in the volume on Friday. So it looks, you can see it ran up, pulled back a little bit, and it's been following these averages up and could continue on up probably for another 2 days before it does have more of a sell-off. Next one on the long list is GARS, G-A-R-S, Garrison Capital. So this one is getting, it's closer, middle of the range for the year. On Friday, I do have the 755 as the resistance to break out because it has broken that out in the past. This does have 15.79 million in the float. It is lower float, and it was 83% short float volume on Friday. So looking back at the yearly chart, we're right here at this resistance. So if it breaks out, it could continue on up. 789, the 200 period moving average, and right there also looks like it's a resistance point as well from this candle, 787. So keep an eye out for this, a nice 30 cent pop, which, hey, if you had 1,000 shares, you'd be making 300 bucks right there if it pops up for you. All right, next into the short is TGT. Potential short, had earnings, had a nice run up, but then it was setting lower lows, right? So looking for that continuation to fill the gap to the downside. 76.30 for resistance to the upside in case it does go up and test that 200-day moving average again, or breakdown of 74.80. And target does have 520 million in the float. Looking on the 15-minute chart, you can see it came down, broke down here, which wasn't the low of the day that it gapped up, but this is, you know, gapped up 1, 2, 3 days, and now we're starting to have lower lows. So this could continue on down to 73.83, if not back down to 73, based on the earnings gap up. It could go ahead and falter right on back down. Next on the short list, is Rost, and this does have 363 million in the float. So on the 15-minute chart, it had this nice downward trend, never broke this resistance all day on Friday of 90.13, and support I would look for of 88.65, the low of the day. And back on the yearly chart, we see, okay, we're mid-range for the year overall. Let's pull it back, and we do have this gap that it had to the downside, but it found resistance, which is now looking like it's support to be broken. So if this does break down, it looks like we could go ahead, potentially test on down to the 85 level, nice $4 move, if not further down here to the $82 mark. All right, and next one, it looks like retailers were getting beaten up on Friday, right? We have Macy's, and Macy's is down at the 52-week low, could be continuing on down further. When we pull it back on the 5-year, you can see it does look like this could be potential support area here, 22.28. If that does break down further, potentially on down to the 20 range, and if the low of the past 5 years has been 1832. So if we do break 1832, watch out. We could be going down further from there. And Macy's does have 306 million in the float. On the 15-minute chart, you can see it pulled back, found a little bit of support here at 23.10. Like I said, it does look like that's a 5-year resistance, or excuse me, 5-year support point. So we could you know, sort of consolidate here for a couple of days before there's a movement, but I would put this on the watch list. Next one on the short list is OEC. Down day, dividends announced, and ex-dividend date. So it found support around 21.28. It does have 58 million in the float, and I would look for resistance of 22.02 to be broken to the upside. On the yearly chart, you can see massive gap down. Let's pull it back a little bit further. It does look like a prior support level right here and a resistance level as well to be broken out. So it did break out from 21.90 before to a high of the year of 36.55. So that's $18, almost 100% to the upside there. So keep this one on watch. Last dividend, let's see, this was dividend of March of 19. Let's check dividend of March of 2018. Where did it go from here? So it continued on down from there, and this is the 120-day simple moving average. It bounced from that, and now this is to the upside. So we could easily, everything is starting to curl down here. The market obviously on Friday, past 3 days is down. This is continued, and big gap down on Friday for Orion. So that is why I have it on the short list. And then GameStop. GameStop has been pummeled again and again. And we had a big gap down as well. And it looks like support to be broken to the downside would be 1075, 52-week low. It could very well continue down. Or we might have a bounce up and a retracement and then continue down. Just like the market right now seems like it wants to it had such a big gap down for Amazon. We went up down, you know, 100 points. The SPY went down, IWM went down, QQQ went down. They all went down for 3 days in a row. So it wouldn't be unlikely to see a bit of a dead cat bounce at the beginning of the day and then continue on down. Or even one up day and then the next 3 days down. So we shall see what the market does. But as always, guys, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Carpe Profit, seize those profits one day at a time, and have a wonderful time in trading.